Hi everyone. In this video, we will be answering the question, what is the Sandman? Very simply, the Sandman is an American comic book series published by DC Comics. It was written by Neil Gaiman and was illustrated by a variety of artists over 75 issues that were published as a monthly, so it spanned about 6 years and 3 months. The Sandman was a huge crossover hit for DC because it reached people who weren't normally comics readers. It was the first comic for a lot of people, and there were groups like women, college students who read Sandman but weren't reading any other comics. This is primarily attributed to Neil Gaiman's extreme literary style. He introduced a lot of literary techniques to comics and to comics readers, and also appealed to people who liked literature and reading about legend and myth and history, and these are the kind of facets that he was able to put into this comic book to create something that most people had not seen before. The Sandman tells the story of Morpheus, the Lord of the Dreams, referred to as Dream, and Morpheus is one of a handful of siblings who are known as the Endless. These are immortal beings who personify and represent aspects of humanity and human experience. These stories by Gaiman about Dream and his siblings and the lives and the events that they touch spanned all of history, even though the main storyline took place in our contemporary time and had a period of a few years. There were a lot of stories that dealt with background. There were a lot of stories that gave peeks of the future. There were a lot of stories that incorporated a lot of history, myth, and legend into the fabric of the universe that was being created. This gives Sandman an expansive feeling of being universal, of having every culture involved in storytelling and in dreaming and in aspirations and in secret desires, things that bound all of humanity, and allowed the creators and the writer and the artists, it allowed them to explore all kinds of aspects. At the same time, they were able to build together a vast story that took in hundreds and hundreds of influences, had dozens of characters, and culminated in an almost Shakespearean or Greek tragedy sort of manner. Ostensibly, Sandman started out as a horror series and part of the sort of horror comics that DC was publishing at the time. But it quickly moved beyond that and evolved into something a lot more sophisticated and a lot more encompassing than just horror. It evolved to become an expansive look at stories and storytelling and the way that lives and cultures are determined by this, among many other ideas. The Sandman is made up of both longer multi-story arcs and short stories, small pieces that give you glimpses at different aspects of the Sandman's world. The Sandman has been collected and published in a variety of formats, originally as single issues coming out every month over a period of 75 months. The most common way of reading Sandman is perhaps in the collected editions. There are 10 volumes of these collected editions that collect all 75 of these issues. And then there are the absolute editions, which are large, oversized hardcovers that contain multiple volumes of the collected editions within single volumes. There are 4 for the 75 issues. There are also Sandman omnibus collections, which collect in 2 volumes over 1,000 pages each, the entire run. If you're interested in taking a look at some of the single issues, check out the video on numbers 1 through 20. And if you're interested in the Absolute Edition, do check out the video on the first 4 Absolute Editions. Thank you.